Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga Matchday 19 and also Super Cup semi-finals, Athletic Barcelona, Real Madrid, Mallorca, and in La Liga, Álvaro, if Atlético de Madrid win, they will finish as winter champion.
Yes, and every time Atlético de Madrid has turned the year in a good situation, they have competed the league. So I think that for Atlético de Madrid it's very important to beat Osasuna this weekend. I believe that this weekend is a good one to bet because, it's a challenge. I think that we have to be cautious because many teams have been on holiday. Then some of my personal favorite bets cannot be made, like for example Athletic Club Bilbao winning at home against bottom half opposition, Real Madrid winning the second half at home, Barcelona to score over 2.5 goals. All these bets cannot be made in La Liga because these teams are playing the Super Cup. But when I see the opportunities, I'm going to go for them. And I think that, for example, Atlético de Madrid Osasuna offers an opportunity. And I will say that Rayo Vallecano Celta Vigo, which is the first game that we're going to analyze in La Liga, not necessarily in this show, offer a good opportunity too. So let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Let's jump. Guys, remember, of course, as always, leave your comments in the video. Press the like if you enjoy it or subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. And the first game we are going to analyze is in the Super Cup. We have semi-finals on Wednesday and on Thursday in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah. Athletic Barcelona is the first semi-final. Everyone is looking at Dani Olmo and at Laporta to see if the player can be available. Probably not for the semi-final, very unlikely for the final, and with all this noise around the club. But also, Barcelona want to find good news, Álvaro, because we left them in La Liga losing to Atlético de Madrid, losing to Leganés at home, so now they are 5 points away from Real Madrid, and Athletic is kind of the opposite, only 2 points away from Barcelona in La Liga, won 5 out of the last 6 games, no defeats since October, and the major question is Nico Williams, doubtful for this game.
Yeah, because he's got a problem in his ankle. I think that this is a really good game and probably the most level one from the semi-finals of the Super Cup. I have no doubt about that. I think that Athletic Club Bilbao is in a great moment and they have shown it. You have said that they haven't lost since October, and in between they have difficult games also in the Europa League. It's true that the other day in the Cup, at the turn of the year, they suffered to knock out Logroñés. They needed to win the game in penalties, in the penalty shootout. But other than that, yes, it's a good moment for the team of Valverde, which clearly needed a break as well, and they have like an 8 or 9 days, like Barcelona too, just to regroup a little bit. Sadly for Athletic, as you said, Nico Williams is going to be a doubt. If Nico is not available, I'm pretty sure that Berenguer could be the option, and Berenguer has been one of the best substitution players that Athletic has had in years. I remember him just winning the Cup, for example, not so long ago, last year. But not having Nico is going to be a problem, obviously. And when it comes to Barcelona, even though Barcelona has had a drop in points, very remarkable one, in La Liga over the last 2 months, I have to say that their display against Atlético de Madrid was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was just unlucky that they didn't beat them, with Pedri being, running the show and scoring a beautiful goal. But for this game, I think that I'm gonna stick with my feeling, and my feeling is that we're going to have a Clásico in the final, Barcelona Real Madrid. I think that is gonna happen because Barcelona, it's favorite because they play in a neutral venue as well. If this game was in San Mamés in cup competition, I think that Athletic Club Bilbao would be the favorite because they have proven over the last years that at San Mamés playing the cup against big teams, normally they win. But on a neutral venue is a different story. So I'm gonna go for Barcelona to win this game, plain and simple. It pays 187.
All right. Valverde against Barcelona. His last game as a Barcelona manager was in this stadium in Jeddah. After this, he was probably was unfair, but he was fired. And these teams played in the Super Cup in 2021, and Athletic beat Barcelona 3-2 in the extra time in that game that even Messi was sent off. And the other semi-final, Alvaro, is Real Madrid, Mallorca. Real Madrid are the favorites to win the trophy. Odds are 2, Barcelona 250, and therefore they are also big favorites to win this game, 1.44. Real Madrid couldn't beat Mallorca in Somos earlier in the season, but now they are on top of the table after winning in Mestalla, suffering a lot with Vinicius seeing the red card, but he's going to be available for the Super Cup. Positive start of the season also in the Cup. And Mallorca, Alvaro, we saw them crumbling in the Cup against Pontevedra, 4th-tier team. And in La Liga, they are doing great. They won also the last 2 games in La Liga against Getafe and Girona.
Yes, I think that Mallorca is one of those big candidates to fight for a Conference League spot in La Liga. And, they've got a team that knows how to compete in difficult scenarios. And I think that Mallorca is going to put a nice fight. I think that from the attitude point of view and from the mentality point of view, Mallorca is going to do what they have to do. Thing is it going to be enough to beat Real Madrid? I don't think so. Real Madrid looks on a little bit of a high to me right now, with Mbappé finding finally his somewhere near his best form. He's not there yet, but he's clearly getting there. And then Bellingham, after having a struggle at the start of the season, playing mostly on the right, Jude Bellingham has found finally his way, his place in the pitch. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti has something to do with it. And the other day in Valencia, I was very, very surprised about Jude Bellingham. Not surprised, that's not a word because I know how good he is, but I was happy to see that he's the player that he was a year ago. Luka Modric as well, trying to help in midfield. Dani Ceballos offering a solution, a creative solution to Real Madrid these days. I think Real Madrid is in a good moment, just adjusting the pieces little by little. They won in the Cup. They rotated a little bit in the Cup, especially in the defensive department. And I believe that they will play with their best possible lineup here. And Vinicius will be in it because he was sent off against Valencia, but he will serve a 2-game ban in La Liga, but not in the Super Cup. So I think that Vinicius will play. That's why I'm going to go for 𝗵𝐻𝗄 to be booked, because 𝗵𝐻𝗄 plays as a right back in Mallorca and he has a certain past with Vinicius. And not long ago, like 10 days ago, he was speaking in a podcast about him and Vinicius having a battle. It was in a joking mood, but anyway, this is the vibe about 𝗵𝐻𝗄 and Vinicius. 𝗵𝐻𝗄 also plays for Argentina. I think there is a rivalry in there. So 𝗵𝐻𝗄 to get booked can be a good one. Also Vinicius to get booked, even though probably he will contain himself a little bit more in this game. But I like Real Madrid to win the second half. I'm going to be plain and simple. I think that the game can be contested, but Real Madrid will find a way at the end. And that's more likely to happen in the second half. And normally when Real Madrid scores the first goal, then the second one tends to come. So Real Madrid to win the second half, 171.
Well, I hope Vinicius also learn from his mistakes, although it looks very unlikely considering what had happened in his career. But again, second red card for him in Mestalla. Well, this is the Super Cup, as always, very entertaining. Real Madrid, the current champions in Saudi Arabia. And now we move to La Liga, Alvaro, and we start with the game on Friday, Rayo Vallecano, Celta de Vigo. Both are in mid-table, with Rayo Vallecano drawing the last 3 games in La Liga against tough opposition, Betis, Villarreal and Real Madrid. And Celta beat Real Sociedad at home. They always suffer a lot when they are playing away.
They do suffer a lot. In this game, I think that maybe the goals market is my favorite thing because, as much as Celta suffers, they can score. And Rayo Vallecano at home have scored an average of over a goal per game, but the odds for Rayo are good to back them, that's for sure. As they are the home side, I get it. And maybe this is why, or the reason behind the odds for Rayo being this good is because Rayo is the second worst performing at home. But I am sure that this will change gradually as the second half of the season unrolls. Not that Celta has been good away either, you have said that. Celta got only 4 points away this season. But yeah, as I said before, Rayo has scored over 1 goal per game at home, and Celta has scored over 1 goal per game away, and 27 this season, by the way. So I'm gonna go for over 2 goals. It pays 168. I have to say as well that Oddspedia recommends over 2.25 goals or highlights that market as well, and I've got nothing against it. Over 2.25 goals pays 197. Personally, I prefer over 2 goals and put it together in an ACCA with something else. Just very quickly on Rayo, 𝗲𝗲𝗏 is on his way out. He's been a flop. We have to say that he's been released by 6 clubs in 4 years. So it looks like international football is his favorite ecosystem, not club football at the minute. And for Celta, I think that 𝐬𝐭𝐴SPAS is not going to play this game, but luckily for them, many players are netting goals because 11 players have already scored in La Liga. So not having Aspas is a problem, yes, but not as big as it would have been 5 or 6 years ago. I think that the team is not so dependent on 𝐬𝐭𝐴SPAS anymore.
Okay, 4 games on Saturday. First one is Alavés Girona. Still no wins for 𝗋𝐿 in charge of Alavés. 2 points away from the bottom 3. Was risky to fire Luis Garcia. They took the lead in Valencia, but they drew. Is 4 draws in the last 4 La Liga games. And Girona, Alvaro, ended pretty well the year, beating Valladolid comfortably at home. I guess we should expect a better Girona in the second part of the season, and the odds are kind of good to back them.
Yeah, I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap plus 0.25. It pays 160. That means that if Girona draws, you get half a win, okay? So no losses. And if they win, you win. You get 160. You multiply your investment by that, which is good enough, I believe. Also, a draw no bet for Girona is something that I could be ready to go for, but I will wait a little bit for the lineup to see how many absentees and at Girona's camp as well. Draw no bet for Girona pays 185. Yeah, I could do that. We have to say as well that Alavés at home has been okay. I mean, they have in total 17 points in La Liga, and 12 of them have been collected at home. With 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀, the team has stabilized a little bit because they got 3 draws against Osasuna, against Athletic, and against Valencia. But you know, Alavés, with Luis Garcia, the previous manager, was some sort of a safe bet at home against teams in the relegation battle or teams who were in a crisis. And I don't know if Girona fits over there, but with Luis Garcia, maybe my bet would have been different. But with 𝗋𝐿, not so much. So that's why I'm going to take the angle of Girona and I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap plus 0.25. And just very quickly on Girona, yes, they beat Valladolid 3-0 in the last league game of the year. Yes, they have recovered many players, but I am a little bit intrigued about the words of 𝗵𝐿 after the last game. Listen to this, Edu, because it's interesting. He said, we have a squad to qualify for Europe, but not a team to qualify for Europe. We have the potential, but the team doesn't give me the feeling we can be in Europe. A little bit negative, in my opinion. It's not the kind of message that a manager send out, but I don't know, maybe he's trying to motivate his players like this, telling them, you're very good, but you're not a team yet.
Well, Álvaro, another teams involved in the relegation battle, in this case, Valladolid, bottom of the table, playing at home against Betis. They changed the manager, as we all know recently, but they are out of the cup against Ourense, a third tier team, and lost to Girona in the last game. Betis With some news in the market, 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 to 𝐜𝐭MOD is only one win in the last 7 La Liga games. So the odds to back Betis is only 1.9. And the good news is that we saw 𝐿𝐭𝐴 scoring in the cup.
Yep, and that's the best thing, probably. I think that the 𝐿𝐭𝐴 combination can be very good for Betis. Betis always finds a way to have two very good playmakers in the team. I think that 𝐿𝐭𝐴 is a different level to 𝗀𝐿𝐴, but it's true that 𝗀𝐿𝐴 has been performing this season really well, and the numbers are there. 𝗀𝐿𝐴 has scored 7 goals in La Liga. 5 of those 7 have been the first goal of the game for Betis. So his performance has been decisive for Betis to be where they are. Betis is on an okay run. You have said that. I mean, they got only 1 win in 7, but they have corrected their situation in the Conference League. Also, they haven't lost in 3 in La Liga. And I'm not too sure about 𝗵𝗵𝗖𝗍𝗍 going to 𝐭𝐿𝐴. Time will tell whether this is a good sale, because yes, Betis can get all the value for the player, as he is an academy product. So for financial reasons and for fair play reasons, this sell is good. But 10 million, I don't know. I have the feeling that in other league, maybe this player would have been sold for a little bit more. 𝗻𝗍𝗍 has the potential, but his potential is not fulfilled. I don't know. A team with less financial needs would have waited a little bit more, but Betis needed the money, and that's why they sold the player. But yeah, Betis is in a decent run. As I said before, little by little, they are correcting the situation. I believe in Pellegrini. And then Valladolid, look at them. I mean, they lost to Girona, they lost to Ourense in the cup, by the way. In the cup, many teams from the top flight have been eliminated. But anyway, Valladolid is a different story. Valladolid is really bad this season. They have conceded 37 goals already. They have won only 3 games, 1 in August, then 1 in December, 1 in October. They don't tend to win, and they don't tend to win these games. Betis is simply better. So I'm going to go for Betis to win. 187.
I expect, and even the bookies expect Valladolid to go down and probably even doing less points, I would say, in this second part of the season. A massive game for the relegation is Espanyol Leganés. Espanyol now are in the bottom 3, only 3 points away from Leganés. Leganés took a huge breath after beating Barcelona away, but they lost to Villarreal 2-5 in the last game of the season, of the year. Espanyol lost to Las Palmas. It's only 2 points in the last 4 La Liga games. It's only 1 win in the last 9. And still, Álvaro, they are favorites.
They're favorites. I'm going to do something that is very unlike me, but I'm going to chase the odds here. Leganés winning pays 450, okay? So that sets the tone. You can downgrade a little bit that and still have a lot of money in your pocket or get a lot of money for your bet. Leganés to win, as I said before, 450. A draw no bet for Leganés, 305. A double chance for Leganés, pays high, a little bit under 2, but still. And an Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Leganés could be my safest bet in this game. So basically, if Leganés lost by 1 goal, you suffer, have a lose. But if they won, you will win. And if they draw, you will win as well. Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Leganés. I love it, 160. I know that Óscar Rodríguez is suspended for Leganés, and he can be an important player. But I also know that Villarreal scored 5 against Leganés, but that was a bad day in the office. For example, Barcelona couldn't score against Leganés. And I think Leganés is slightly more composed than Espanyol. This is a 6-pointer for Espanyol, but also for Leganés. And I believe that maybe Leganés can draw it. Maybe they can draw it. Maybe they can lose by 1. Who knows? That's why an Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Leganés sounds to me like a tricky or a clever one here. Otherwise, if you feel like Leganés can really get something out of here, a draw no bet for Leganés, kind of limiting your losses in case they draw, is really good as well. 305. I'm gonna chase the odds, plain and simple, because Espanyol doesn't give me any guarantee, and I think the money is to be made back in the team from Madrid.
All right, let's go to the next game. In this case, Sevilla, Valencia. Valencia changed the manager. Baraja is out, and the new manager, or under the new manager, Valencia played a great first half against Real Madrid. Then they tried to defend, and they lost, as we know. In the injury time, they are now 4 points away from Getafe, and they have a really tough schedule, Álvaro, against Real Sociedad and Barcelona. Perhaps it's not a bad pitch to get points, Ramón Sánchez-Pizjuán, with Sevilla in turmoil after the heavy defeat, the disaster in the Cup, 4-1 against Almería, a second division team.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that Sevilla right now, it's not the team to back, all right? Especially against maybe Valencia, a wounded animal normally is a dangerous animal, and Valencia is wounded. And I think that against Real Madrid, Valencia was competitive, at least. I think that they have an engine for 60, 65 minutes, and then, Real Madrid just proved their quality over Valencia, but that game could have ended in a draw. I have no doubt about that, because, Jude Bellingham was needed in extra time just to score the winning goal. But yeah, I like the reaction under Carlos Corberán. I think that this manager who spent the time in England is a capable manager. Then Valencia, days after losing against Real Madrid, put in a good performance, I have to say. They qualified in the Cup by beating 𝐜𝐭𝐴. I cannot take many conclusions or draw many conclusions out of that game. But, Valencia got a win, and every win counts, and every win boosts the confidence. 𝗵𝐻𝐿 scored for Valencia, a footballer that I believe that he can be important for Valencia too, because I saw him at Brentford, and in his first seasons there, he was good. Then I think physically he got many injuries and he couldn't perform to his best. 𝗵𝐻𝐿 has been the signing of the winter for Valencia. I don't expect much from 𝗵𝐻𝐿 personally after breaking his ACL and having 2 really bad seasons at Real Sociedad. But anyway, since I cannot trust Sevilla, I'm going to go for over 2 goals. It pays a lot, and it's this kind of game played at 8 p.m. at Sánchez-Pizjuán, with 2 teams in need, none of them defend too well. Over 2 goals, 181, that can be interesting for me. Just very quickly on Sevilla, I was thinking the other day that I don't think Sevilla has ever played any Super Cup in Saudi Arabia since the new format is in place. Basically, Sevilla has disappeared from domestic tournaments or winning from winning or fighting for domestic tournaments. I mean, the last time they finished second or played the Cup final is a long time ago. I think the last time they played the Cup final was under Montella in 2018. So, it's weird that Sevilla has managed to find such a happiness and prosperity in the Europa League, but then in Spain, they haven't been a referential team for a while already. And, it's not good for Sevilla that they are missing constantly Super Cup after Super Cup after Super Cup. There has been a drop in the team very clearly, and you can really tell that, again, the team is lost, and the sporting director as well. I mean, they are trying to offload already 2 players that came in the summer, like Barco, a player that I still believe that is not that bad, and 𝗵𝐻𝐿, a player that I have no confidence at all in. I think that is a terrible footballer. They don't know what to do with 𝗵𝐻𝐿. Then they wanted to bid for Juninho, a footballer that plays in Qarabağ and have scored a lot of goals this season. But it looks like Flamengo is going to pay Juninho 3 times more than Sevilla. This is concerning as well. Sevilla doesn't have the money. So let's see how it goes. But this game, over 2 goals, I think that is the best possible bet, really, because none of these sides offered me guarantees yet. Over 2 goals, 181.
For Valencia in a bad situation, and also Sevilla. Once upon a time, 2 teams fighting for big things and titles, but now struggling. Next game is Unión Deportiva Las Palmas, Getafe. Getafe very close to the relegation, only 1 point away from Espanyol. Lost to Mallorca and to Atlético de Madrid 2-0. Last 7 games, Alvaro, both teams to score? No. For Getafe and Las Palmas, they are in a completely different position. They were the big favorites to go down before Diego Martinez arrived, but now he is 7 points away from the bottom 3 out of the cup. Is true, but in La Liga in really good form, 10 points out of the last 12.
That's incredible, I think. And that is what matters for Las Palmas right now, in my opinion. I mean, they beat Espanyol before losing 4-0 in the cup, of course, yes. But, things have improved for Las Palmas. For example, Sandro has had a terrific improvement. And Diego Martinez in general has improved every department, every aspect. Just for people to know, Las Palmas has conceded only 2 goals in the last 4 La Liga games. It is almost as if they were becoming a new Getafe, whose defensive structure is superlative. Getafe, just to talk about them, they won their last game 1-0 against Granada in the Cup, and they lost their last game in La Liga 1-0 to Mallorca. So as we can see, and as you said, both teams to score no tends to happen in Getafe's games. They are decided by tight margins. Getafe has struggled to score, but then defensively they have been a really good unit, and that's why they are not in relegation positions. And on top of that, Borja Mayoral is back. And I want to stress this. This can be the decisive turning point for Getafe in the tournament. Borja Mayoral is a footballer who can score between 10 and 17 goals in a league, I believe. He has the potential to do that, enough for Getafe. If they have a number 9 who can score every 2 games, Getafe is going to be fine. Mayoral scored in the Cup, and he played 10 minutes of normal time plus 30 minutes of the extra time, so he can play already a half almost. And this is going to be very important for Getafe to recover a footballer like Borja Mayoral. Obviously, inevitably, with all the things I said, I will point at the under, right? But under 2.5 goals, for example, it pays 150. Under 2 goals, the region of 180. I don't know. I'm not particularly a massive fan of unders. You know me. I think that people who follow me have noticed already. Under 2.5, 150, not enough money. So I will go for a draw, 3.0. I think that this game can end in a draw and the money is really good. Otherwise, this is a pass. And if you want to do a very ambitious combo, I will say that Sandro scoring and Mayoral scoring all together in the same game will pay over 10. That can be very interesting. But, for me, this game can be a draw. Otherwise, it's a pass. As you can see, it's not my favorite game to bet because both teams are defensively right now quite decent, especially in the league.
All right, and on Sunday we have only 2 games in La Liga. The other one is Atlético de Madrid, Osasuna, very important one because if Atlético win, they will top the table at the end of the first round of fixtures. Winter champion, as we call it in Spain. Club record now with 13 wins in a row. Last one in the Cup. Last game that they didn't win was against Betis at the end of October, and Osasuna are in a bad run, Álvaro. They are winless in the last 6 games in La Liga, and also away from home, they've been poor this season with only 1 win.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are dropping little by little. They dropped to the 10th position. I think that the injury of Brian Zaragoza has a lot to do with it. And Osasuna hasn't won a football game in the league since the 2nd of November. That was against Valladolid, a winnable game. So, it's not a good moment for them. I'm sure that in this little, tiny winter break, they have trained, they have refocused. I mean, I have no doubts about that. And I think that Osasuna is going to be fine. But still, in this game, all my focus is on Atlético. I mean, Atlético is on a terrific run. 13 straight wins and 7 clean sheets in the process. I mean, this is quite something. And if they get 1 more win, they will get their best ever winning record. By the way, the previous record is also with Simeone. But if they win, they will accumulate 14 straight wins. That's a lot. And then the strikers are responding. Griezmann, Julián, Sorloth, Correa, they all score when needed. And, I think that Simeone wants to prolong the run to the point that he almost didn't rotate against Marbella in the cup either. And, I think that Atletico wasn't great against Barcelona. In my opinion, they deserved to lose that game, but they stayed competitive and they defended at least with a tremendous belief and willingness. And then in the counter-attack, they can be deadly. And at home, they are very good as well. So I'm going to back Atletico for this game, obviously. My bet will be Asian handicap minus 1.25 for Atlético de Madrid. That pays 173, and it means that if they win by 2, you win. And if they win by 1, you suffer half a lose. I think that Atletico tends to accumulate goals in games, especially in the second half when Simeone does the substitutions. No manager, I think, that is using more the substitutions in Europe than Simeone, and that's paying a lot of dividends. Otherwise, you can believe that a win 2-0 for Atletico can be a good one too, Edu, because it pays 2.0, and as I said before, in the last 13 games, Atletico has recorded 7 clean sheets. And Osasuna is not a particularly high scoring side. They have scored 23 in La Liga in 18 games. True, they beat Barcelona, but again, things are more difficult when they don't have a footballer like Brian Zaragoza, who I believe that is not going to be available for this game.
Well, probably the best thing about this Atlético de Madrid is that they stay competitive on the bench because they've scored a lot of late winners against Athletic, against Celta, against PSG, against Barcelona. They drew against Real Madrid. All of them scored in the injury time. And for Monday, we have Real Sociedad, Villarreal, two teams fighting for European spots. Real Sociedad had improved at the end of 2024, but they lost to Celta in the last game, and Villarreal kind of the opposite. They were in a really bad moment. They were winless in 5 La Liga games, but in the last game, Alvaro, they thrashed Leganés with Barry scoring a hat-trick.
A hat-trick, yeah. He's a physical striker. It's been a while that... I'm going to rephrase that. I think that it wasn't too clear to me if Villarreal was going to replace Sorloth with a player of that physicality and quality. And Barry so far is performing. He's performing and he's playing very well. Villarreal has plenty of skillful footballers. I have no doubt about that. They can accelerate the game, especially when the ball gets to Yeremy Pino, a footballer who is improving little by little, footballer who plays for Spain as well, and maybe we don't talk enough about him, but gradually he's getting there to the level he had before his ACL injury. In this game, there are two forces, obviously. Villarreal's scoring and conceding spree versus Real Sociedad's, how to put it, measured and intelligence quotient. I think Real Sociedad is very good at that, and Villarreal prefers the game to have goals. So if the game becomes a little bit crazy, maybe Villarreal has a chance. I mean, box to box and all that, Villarreal has the players to inflict pain. But if the game is, played under Real Sociedad's parameters and terms, which is like a little bit more of caution, staying solid defensively, being clever, doing the right fault in the right moment just to stop counterattacks, something that Real Sociedad knows how to do, Real Sociedad is going to win it. And I do believe that Real Sociedad knows how to play these games. And Barcelona has lost in this ground. Real Madrid suffered a little bit. Real Sociedad has beaten Ajax recently as well in the ground. I believe that they are going to win this game, but I'm more than happy to back them, plain and simple, with an Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Real Sociedad, 165. If they draw, you suffer only half a lose, therefore you kind of minimize your losses, but if they win, you win your stake.
All right, Alvaro, this is the first match day of 2025 in La Liga. Also with the Super Cup, we enjoyed already Copa del Rey fixtures with many surprises. So a lot of football in Spain. And of course, you can still participate in our tipster competitions. We have now the yearly one just open. So it's a good opportunity to start with your annual or yearly tipster competitions, but also the monthly one, and of course, rivals, where you can create your custom competition and challenge your friends. Alvaro, let's finish the video with your safe bet.
Yeah, it's going to be Asian handicap -1 for Atlético de Madrid, 150.
Okay, and the ACCA?
Asian handicap -1.25 for Atlético, Rayo Celta over 2 goals. Altogether, 290.
Okay, best of luck to everyone. Also, Alvaro, thank you for being with us again in this 2025. See you soon. Bye-bye.